2 reviews in one morning. How lucky can you get? Recently, I did order something that I figured should be worth mentioning because consider it a companion piece to my last game review, which was about Dragon's Dogma. Because I have Dragon's Dogma, I figured I might as well just get the companion piece, namely called Arisen. And it says back here, with the dragon defeated and your heart reclaimed, you must now face an ancient darkness that has mysteriously arisen from the depths of the Kesserdi Sea. That is Arisen. Now, the one thing you can do on this game, and I have done it quite recently, is I actually installed Arisen onto my onto Dragon's Dogma. And let me just show you. What you have here is the install disk. And what I have in here, what I have already in my 360 is Arisen, but what I put here is Dragon's Dogma. Now what does it do? Now what does it do to your save? Actually, it just modifies it. You see, if you have any save, if you make any progress in Dragon's Dogma, well, what you do is you put in Arisen, the Arisen install disk. Now, it is worth 3 gigs of memory, so it is best to save Arisen to your backup drive. If you can't do it on your main save, that's okay. Just as long as you have a backup drive with over 3 gigs, you can pull it off. I have like 2 drives, and my biggest one is like, maybe, I don't know, out of a 42 or something like that. 24, 42, I don't know. But it is a big backup drive, so I'm using the install disk just for, I'm using that for the installation. But other than that, that's only just to install Arisen. Arisen, though, can basically pick up on your Dragon's Dogma file, and as long as you have saved data, it's like, okay, you have instant additional stuff. So, like, if you haven't finished Dragon's Dogma, that's okay, because once you do have Arisen, you basically open up a lot of extras. Like, for one, you instantly earn about 100,000 Rift Crystals, I believe. Yeah, 100,000 Rift Crystals. You earn an infinite Fairy Stone. And I believe you earn quite a bit of items. I'll put it to you that way. You earn a lot of items. Plus, you open up a lot of extra vocations. Vocations are, in turn, maybe... Vocations are like the job systems. That's what vocations are, the job systems. Like, my current vocation is still the warrior. I don't think I'm going to change him into a magic knight. I'm just going to keep him as a warrior. However, I can change my pawn into something else. He's a ranger, a level 32 ranger, in which from far away he can shoot fire arrows or fire bolts, and close up he has stilettos. I am pretty proud of my. I am pretty proud of my group. I am pretty proud of my character and my pawn, and you can actually get more. You can actually get more out of more out from the Rift Crystal than you would in normal when you're playing Dragon's Dogma, the vanilla version as they call it. But when you're playing Dark Arisen, oh. Well, the last thing I remember was that you can use anybody's pawn. You can use anybody's pawn to help yourself out in a pinch. Like what I have now is a level 43 healer mage and a level 43 warrior. They're both pawns, mind you. So I have on me my Arisen and 3 pawns. You can have up to a limit of 3 pawns. That's basically the rule. If you're going to get pawns, you're going to have one, of course, that you make yourself, and then 2 coming from whatever is in the Rift Crystal. Whatever is in there, that's basically like from anything. You can get rangers, you can get warriors, you can get mages, you can get hybrids of anything really. Because like I said, there are plenty of vocations, so therefore lots to choose from. Especially if you make a special vocation out of like one full vocation of this, say a warrior and a sorcerer or something like that. You can get quite a few special content, Like let me just pull up game facts for a moment. Yeah, don't mock me just because I use game facts a lot. To me, using game facts is smart. Because I know many idiots out there say, "You use a game fact," because they usually look at me and say, "You use a game fact. You got a lot of things." Well, the thing is, game facts to me helps me out. Like I said, I use game facts just for the sole purpose of me actually helping myself out too, if I'm doing game on my own time, or perhaps something totally different. Yes, they also have Dragon's Dogma from a different sky. I have never done that yet. I really haven't. I really should try from a different sky. But yeah, let me see. They have the following. They have the end game chambers, which you have to go through in order to actually finish the rest of the game. Because really, after you've beaten the dragon, it's not over. It really isn't. You have to actually go through the last part of the game, in which if you've already went to Grand Soren, you're going to have to go back to the Everfall. So therefore, you have to go back to the Everfall in order to get to the true final boss of the game. Because you do have a final boss of the game, which is the dragon, but you also have to go through the end of the boss. You also have to go through all these chambers just to get to the final boss of the game. So therefore, I'll just read this off to you. You have the basic vocations are the fighter, the strider, a mage, which is just the basic. Advanced is warrior, which is what I am, ranger, sorcerer. Hybrids are mystic or magic knight, assassin, magic archer, and that's it. But yes, if I were to become something more stronger, I would be a mystic knight or a magic knight. But the sad thing is, it's only available to your main character and not your pawn. So, if I were to say switch over to a magic knight, my strengths would be having a strong melee, enchantments, and having a magic cannon or a great cannon. My weakness would be spell charging, so that means I would have to basically, I'll basically have to be like a mage slash sorcerer just to power those up, and then switch over to, say, the warrior, and then probably work on mystic knight, and you know, just to even everything out. But that's just me. I mean, I'm not usually a magic user, so that's the thing with me. I'm not a magic user. Let's see, the HP growth will be high, stamina will be average, the attack will be low, defense will be average, magic attack will be average, and defense will be average. So, yes, magic attack and defense will both be average. So therefore, I'm sorry, I couldn't do it. I mean, I would do it if I had restoration and whatnot. But like I said, not for me. You know, not for me. I really haven't done much of Dragon's Dogma, Dark Arisen lately, or rather, I should say this, Dark Arisen. There is no real change in the game, except for you have more to deal with than if you were playing it just normal. There's no real change to it, so therefore, really, there really isn't any change to it. It's just the same game, only that you're only dealing with characters. You're only dealing with different type of characters. You can change stuff. You can change jobs if you feel like it. Like, if you fancy yourself as a mage character, stick with being a mage, and then you can go from there. You can go from being a mage to a sorcerer, and possibly go from being a magic sorcerer or something like that, and then just going from there. But that's really up to you. And like I said, the bosses, you know, all I can say is the bosses, man, the bosses. Like you have, like what I've come across was the Chimera. I haven't come across the Cockatrice. I've run across the Cyclops. I have not come across the dragon yet, nor the Drake. But again, after you defeat the dragon, then there's post-game, which features, you know, the true final boss of the game. So it's like you have main game and then post-game. So basically, after you beat the dragon, you get the credits and whatnot. But after that, then you got the post-game to do. And there is possibly no limit to what you can do in the post-game. I mean, from what I saw from the pawns I actually have, you can go over 99. You can go over 99, level 99 to about, I don't know, maybe level 200. Because let me tell you, the pawns I have, they basically dwarf my characters. Because I'm level 32. The pawns I actually have, which are by the way from my girlfriend and her roommate, they actually have level 143, and I'm a level 32. I have a level 32 character for level 32 pawn, and they have level 143. That tells you something. They spend more time on that game than I do. But then again, I'm usually busy, so it's like, oh, I would love to, but you know, I'm usually on here more than I'm on the Xbox. So you know, there's usually that. But back to what I'm saying, I basically dealt with the worst of the worst in that game. I feel the only one that really gave me trouble was it was the Cyclops. The Cyclops gave me a lot of trouble. There was a golem I took down. And yes, the beautiful thing about Dragon's Dogma is that you can basically post whatever kind of pictures you feel are Facebook, wherever. You can post them to Facebook. Considering that you know your Facebook name and your password, of course, and that you can hook it up to your Xbox and you know send it right there onto Facebook. So I've done a bit of that too on Facebook. I've actually posted a few pictures on Facebook. So I do have pictures from Dragon's Dogma. If you have Facebook, go check it out. They're pretty cool. And pretty much it spots my progress about about where I am in the game. So far in my game, I'm still at Grand Sword. I'm still working out all the missions going on, or all the missions I feel will be ample for me to do in Grand Sword. I haven't done anything heavy as of late. I mean, aside from killing a chimera, but other than that, just yeah. I mean, the golem, I can tell you, the golem was an interesting boss because all the weak points were basically his joints. That's all I was doing. I was just going for the joints. So it's like, okay, all you can do is you can climb up against various enemies. You can climb up against them, but the thing is, you have to be very careful. And because there are a lot of legendary monsters, if you do have Facebook, please do share your progress on how you're doing in certain cases. Like the last one I dealt with was the Chimera, so that was the last actual boss I've actually faced, which was the Chimera. But they all have it's just crazy. It really is crazy. And I believe, oh yeah, Riftstone, yeah. Yeah. Because as I mentioned before in Dragon's Dogma, there in the first review of Dragon's Dogma, there's not much change as far as you know, as doing Dragon's Dogma regular. But the thing is, in this game, there's not much change. And if you have DLC, that's even better for you because you can basically get better armor, with the DLC and everything. And I have to say this. I really have to say this. One of the things that I feel should be on Steam is this game. Dragon's Dogma should be on Steam. I don't know about you, but I would have a grand old time just playing Dragon's Dogma just because it should be on Steam. This is a game worthy to be on Steam. I don't see why this game isn't on Steam. It's like, yeah, you can buy Dragon's Dogma. You can get Dark Arisen. And hell, throw everything else in for free if you buy Dark Arisen. It's like, the armor sets? Take your pick. The weapons? Go for it. Because they have so many sets of armor. It's crazy. Plus, like I said, it kind of reminds me of Fable 3. I don't know why. It's like, it's a Western RPG that basically, I just like playing. It's just like, there you go. But, as I said before, Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, it is one of those games that you'll basically have to put in time and patience because, like I said, it's a game that basically just kind of drives. It kind of drives slow or fast depending on how you play. If you play it for a few hours, you'll eventually get a couple levels just right off the top because the missions just make your levels grow just like that. You'll be like, say you're about level 1 and you're doing a certain level and you do like 1, 2, and you do about missions, like you do about 5 or 6 missions. You can just nail them off just like that. Bam, 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 bam. You could be like, first couple hours you could be like level 15, level 20 or something like that. I would say about level 10, level 15-ish. If not level 20, depending on how well you do. But that's just me, and the money's, that ain't no problem. You can basically just get about 100,000 just for doing like 4 or 5 different missions during a few hours. Like you can do one mission and you can do another. Like say you could do 6 missions and even 30,000 easily. But aside from that, like I said, it's worth getting, and I really wish this game was on Steam. I really do. I really wish this game was on Steam. And I'm really getting sick of this chair. If I have not mentioned this, I am getting sick of this chair. I really do need to get a new one, so yeah. But in any case, Dragon's Dogma, Dark Arisen. If you have Dragon's Dogma, get this. Order it, buy it, love it, play it, install it, enjoy it. That's all I'm going to say. And until then, I am the Tenkaichi of Gaming, and I hope you enjoy this review of Dark Arisen. So, take care, God bless, and of course, Tenkai Muso, I'll see you around with more videos. Until then, I hope to see you next time. Take care, and God bless.